Okay.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Good afternoon. We're here again at Fusion 360, going over another one of our exclusive products. Today we want to talk about integrity calcium, our organic and inorganic form. Both products are standalone products that are a big help for calcium deficiencies or for any calcium supplementation or nutrition. So what is calcium's role in plants? So we'd like to cover basically what's the importance of calcium. Calcium is a cementing agent in the cell. Once it is absorbed, it doesn't move again. It is cemented into the cell wall along with boron. It is what causes or increases the integrity of the plant, of the cell wall. Calcium is also one of the important minerals in plant defenses, but there's some limiting factors to calcium, and one of them being it's very immobile. As I said, once it's in the plant, it doesn't relocate, so it's cemented into the cell wall. And when you rate it on a scale from 0 to 100, 100 being most soluble and 0 being least soluble, calcium would be rated almost a 5, whereas nitrogen and some of these other anions like sulfur are more mobile and can be easily translocated and moved through the plant through osmosis or different methods. So what is the importance of calcium balance? Calcium is an immobile element. Once it's in the plant, the calcium will not be translocated to other areas of the plant. So calcium and boron are the two elements always involved in structural integrity of the cell wall and cell membrane. As a repeating molecule of galactronic acid in the cell wall, it's also a cementing agent for proteins in the cell membrane, and it's also a bridge or a binding agent for that repeat units of phospholipids and glycolipid that make up the cell membrane. So that's basically calcium's key role in a plant. Calcium and boron ratios are crucial when we're looking at the integrity of the plant or the cell membrane. We want to have those in balance, and typically we have found at Fusion that a ratio of 100 parts per million of calcium, you need about 1 part per million of boron to get a balanced nutrition and balanced cementing of the cell wall. So I think we're gonna have to cut it right there for a little part. Oh no, let me read this. Host a repeating ration. I didn't write that, did I?
You did.
I wrote that? What the heck? Host a repeating ration in the formation of. Boy, I don't know if I wrote that.
Well,
Maybe, huh?
Let's change it.
Constant supply of soluble.
No, Tom says it's easier to cut it out
Okay.
after.
Sounds good. Tom, cut this out.
Host a repeating. What should it say?
Huh?
What should it say? Should it just be?
Boy, I don't even remember when I wrote that.
Host a repeating.
Maybe just delete it. And I'll just talk about calcium and boron and how we should supply it constantly through foliars or different
So
methods.
just delete this top.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Uh-huh. What comes after this one?
I'll just put the arrow down. Oh, you can't because she's doing the work.
Huh? No, it's all right.
Benefits.
And then, okay, I'm going to talk about
That's the end.
I'm going to talk about applications here
Okay.
in this one, how we apply it and how it should be used.
Okay.
You approve, Robert?
I approve.
Okay.
You're Robert. You approved this message.
Yeah. 2024 is the next election year, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
The libertarians are going to win this one.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. So, in an agricultural setting, when we're looking at calcium boron applications, we always want to have a constant flow and application of nutrients. The first thing you want to look at is your soil. Make sure you have proper ratios. Your base saturation is well balanced, and you have key cations like potassium, magnesium, calcium, and hydrogen all balanced. But since calcium is very immobile, it's very hard to be taken up through the roots. So the best way to do it is apply foliarly. We have found that our product, Integrity Calcium, is very soluble. There's about 7 different forms of calcium in there. The different ligands that are attached to the calcium are recepted differently from the plant, so there's different modes of action for it to be absorbed. And it's also complex, so it helps. It's very soluble and very easy for uptake when applied foliarly. But when we do a foliar application, we always like to include a boron. Boric acid or even a solubor is a good option. Usually just get a ratio. We like to do per 100. We typically go about a 2 to 3 gallon application of calcium and add about 8 to 12 ounces of 10% boron, so we can keep it in balance. So how can Integrity Calcium help? As I mentioned, the key benefit of Integrity Calcium that makes it very unique is the different forms of calcium that are present. So the ligand is the key part for uptake and what's going to make it soluble and be recepted differently through the plant. It's also important so you can balance your anion and cation for improved nitrogen uptake. So preventing a nitrogen dominant plant, you want to make sure you have proper calcium in the tissue. Typically when you have a nitrogen dominant plant and not enough calcium, you're going to end up with diseases or more opportunity for pathogens to occur. As I mentioned, increased tissue structure when supplied by foliar throughout the growing season. So when you apply a balanced calcium foliar spray along with all your important nutrients such as your micronutrients and different a well-balanced fusion foliar programs with FG and Integrity Z422, you're going to get a much stronger tissue. What's that?
We'll pause. There's a typo on the slide.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Should I start over?
Just for this slide.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So the benefits of Integrity Calcium, as I mentioned, have one of the key benefits is the ligands present in Integrity Calcium. There's different methods or different ways that the plant's going to accept it because of the ligands attached to our calcium sources. Another thing that's going to help out is when you apply a balanced calcium program foliarly, you can prevent nitrogen dominant plants. So you balance your nitrogen to calcium ratios. This is important to prevent diseases. It makes a stronger plant, least susceptible to insect or pathogen opportunities. Integrity Calcium also increases the tissue structure when supplied through foliar throughout the growing season. So applying it constantly and getting better uptake through the foliar is going to be a big help for not just for preventing diseases, but also for preventing abiotic stresses. It's also a precursor for plant response hormones. So typically when you have, for example, maybe a powdery mildew on grapes and it's the first time it infects, calcium dominant plant will have a much quicker response because it triggers the hormones that are responsible for disease prevention. So that's another key benefit to having your calcium balanced in your plant. And then multi-ligand source of point of absorption. So I mentioned that already. The different points of absorption are key to our product and what helps it with uptake. Thank you. That's it.